Well, thank you so much for joining me for Nora in Search of Hidden Ingredients, and thank you to the game devs so kindly for giving me a free key to play. We are going to do a story mode. Introduction. Nora arrives at Lilyton to claim the house she inherited from her late grandmother. Granny's house is much smaller than I remember. The last time I visited was 8 years ago when I was 14. The building seemed like it was looming over me back then. It's definitely not a small structure, but it's funny how one's perspective changes with age. I can't believe 8 years have already passed since the last time I saw Granny. I can't believe I'll never see her again. I should have come to visit Grandma during my holidays. Now it's too late. I miss her loving gaze and her kind smile. At least my pendant always reminds me of Granny Danica's happy expression. She gave me this piece of jewelry when I left to study magic at the Percule Academy. Percule? She said her gift would make sure I never strayed from the right path, but... Nora falls into deep thought, her mind wandering back to a month ago, when she was attending a lecture on mathematical solutions to casting conjuration magic. Boring. Could this lesson get any more boring? I don't understand what the teacher is explaining to us. And the person I chose to come to the board to draw the magical circle I just taught you about will be Nora. No. Slowly and reluctantly, Nora makes her way to the front of the classroom. Her hands are clammy, her bottom lip quivering, and the teacher gives her the chalk. She draws a crude, shaky circle on the board and does her best to fill it in with the right symbols. And then we should add a square on the right and on the left. You understand nothing of what I've explained, did you? No. I figured the bored look on your face meant you must have already know about everything I was teaching the class. But it seems you're just as much of a magical failure when it comes to my class as you are in the rest of your courses. Keep this up and you won't get promoted to second year. I'm trying my best. You're not trying hard enough. Now sit down. Penelope, please come forth and draw the magical circle for us properly. Yes, sir. The teacher told me I would fail my first year. 2 weeks later, after our exam period ended, I received my results. His prediction came true. Understanding the material was already difficult for me, and it only got worse after I received the letter from my parents telling me that Granny Danica, my beloved family member, had passed away. As soon as I learned that I wouldn't be promoted to my second year at the magical university I had worked tirelessly to attend, I packed my belongings and made my way to Lilyton. The small town brings back so many memories of the time I spent here as a kid with Granny. They're good memories of a part of my life when things were much easier for me, a time when I loved witchcraft and didn't disappoint people's expectations. The letter I got stated that Granny had left me her house as my inheritance. I needed to change the scenery and I wanted to see the state of the place as well, so I left right away. Mostly, I just needed away from the academy with its hard, rigorous curriculum on witchcraft, which I had failed to comprehend. Am I even cut out to be a witch? I needed some time to think about my path in life, and staying at Granny's place, like when I was a kid, seemed like a perfect opportunity to gain some perspective. I just wish I had visited Granny more often during the years I lived in the capital, studying to first get into the academy. And then as a first year, after I passed the entrance exams on my second try. I became so focused on succeeding at being a certified witch that I eventually forgot about my family. My head is full of such grim thoughts. All right, enough moping around. Nora walks towards the front door. And now we're on to Chapter 2. Nora meets the spirit of the house, who presents a challenge to her, finding Granny's most precious items. Where did I put the keys to the house? My parents sent them to me with the letter about Granny's passing. Nora rummages through her bag on her hip, fiddling with all the items she brought with her, and the keys jingle. Ah, here they are! The key should open the front door. Nora steps closer to the door and puts the key into the lock. Whoa! Her vision shakes, or is the tremor passing through the ground and the building? The key becomes scorching hot. Not wanting to get burned, Nora lets go of it and takes a step back. What's going on? An aura of blue light surrounds the whole house. The smell of incense burns in the air. Magic, powerful magic, and the energy isn't coming from Nora. With a loud whoosh, a semi-transparent figure made of pure light appears in front of Nora, blocking her path to the door. The apparition takes the form of a beautiful woman, but her features are scrunched in an angry frown, and her eyes glow with fury as she looks Nora up and down. What are you? You don't know? I thought the Academy would have taught you at least that much about magical creatures, Nora. I'm a spirit, a domestic spirit, in fact, the spirit of Danica's house. What? But the last time I was here, Granny didn't have a resident domestic spirit. You haven't been to Lilyton in 8 years. That's a long time. Situations change. A ping of guilt goes through Nora's heart. She had indeed neglected Granny Danica while chasing after her dream of becoming a certified witch. She knows now that she should have visited more often, but she also knows it's too late for regret. The thought hurts, especially when someone else points out the situation to her so bluntly. Sorry. It doesn't matter if you're sorry or not. You haven't visited your grandma in 8 years, and now you come here thinking you can become the new owner of her house. I won't let this stand. I'm the spirit of this house, and you won't become its rightful successor without my approval. You can't be serious. I'm Granny's only grandchild. Who else would inherit her house? I'd rather the house stand empty than have someone unworthy reside here. It's not up to you to decide. Granny gave me her house as my inheritance. But Danica also told me to only let you live here if I deem you worthy. And right now, you haven't proven yourself to me. You failed your studies in the capital. You're not a full-fledged witch. If you gain ownership of Danica's huge library of magical tomes, and her pantry of magical potions and salves, and her workshop with her magic cauldron, I can't help but sense a disaster in the making. I'm not a magical failure. You don't sound like you believe your own words. But I'm not merciless. I'll let you become the rightful owner of Danica's house if you can find and bring to me Danica's most prized possession. Seek out the item that was most important to your late grandmother and present it to me. Only then will I let you live in her house in peace. Oh, okay. Well, that sounds like a good deal. I'll let you inside the house so you can conduct your search, but don't expect to find what you're looking for easily. I'll be watching your struggles. And with another whoosh of magical energy, the spirit of the house disappears and the building stops glowing. What have I gotten myself into? Find Granny Danica's most prized possession. Well, that's not gonna be easy. I have no idea what item the spirit is talking about. But I have choice except to try and find it. I don't want to give up and let Granny's house stand neglected without an owner. The spirit gave me this task to see what I'm made of. With renewed determination, Nora grabs hold of the house key once again. It's no longer burning, and it opens the door to Grandmother's house easily. Scene 3, entrance area. Nora looks through the items in the entrance hall of Granny's house. Nora enters the house and takes a good look at the entrance. Did Granny renovate her house in the last 8 years? It looks completely different than from what I remember. Well, it's been a long time. Of course she changed the way the house looks. What did I expect? That everything would be the way I remembered from my childhood? Stupid Nora. I should start looking through the items in this room. The sooner I find Granny's most prized possession, the sooner I'm done with the spirit challenge, so I can have some peace. But I have no idea what I'm looking for, though. Maybe I'll start by finding all the items that look significant. Might as well tidy the place up while I'm searching. Okay, and then here's the hidden object game that I was pretty sure was what I was going to be playing. We got this, a glass of wine, a bug, a hat. Not that hat, though. Wine. A book. Another book. An orange. I'll try not to say all the items out loud. No promises, though. Sure it's not this hat? No? Alright. We got a puzzle box right here. Okay, so this is the map. There is no no zooming or moving around. Okay. The hat I am not seeing anywhere in the book. Oh, I see it. Huh. Nora looks at the item she found in the entrance area. None of these items look like they could have been any kind of significance to Granny. I better try another room. We search the kitchen. Nora comes into the kitchen, her gaze wandering from the table to the counters. Feels like time has stopped here, like Granny just went away, leaving these items on the table and the counters untouched. But wow, she renovated the kitchen as well? She was always so fond of her old counters. Not that the new ones are ugly, it's just strange. Time to look through the kitchen. Not that? There we go. Nora holds a simple candle in her hand, turning it left and right like it houses the answers to the universe. It's just a candle, but I remember how Granny always liked candles. She loved burning one in the evening. She always said the scent relaxed her. But I don't think this item is the one that the spirit wanted me to find. Candles were important to Granny, but they can't be Granny's most prized possessions. I wonder where Granny's favorite cup is. I didn't find it in here. So we're going to go through the living room, finding Grandma's old slipper. Nora walks into the living room next. She looks around the place with a deep frown. This room doesn't look like the way it did in my childhood either. My parents never told me Granny renovated the whole house, even though they gave me updates on what was going on with Granny's life. Strange she never mentioned having a full-scale renovation of her beloved home. You'd think that event would be significant enough to share with your family. Well, I guess let's take a look and see what I can find here. Why do I keep... a bug. And... Granny's old slipper! It's so worn. Granny must have really been attached to this item. She probably wore this slipper a long time. Granny was really attached to some items, but the slipper can't be her most prized possession. We're going to go to the library, where a book of magical formulas reminds Nora of how much she wanted to be a witch, like Granny as a child. Nora opens the door next to the next room, Grandma's great library of magical tomes. I've always admired how much knowledge Granny gathered in this room. Let's take a look at what secrets we can find here. Pink flower. Candle. This purple book, I recognized it from my childhood. It's a book of magical formulas that I looked through many times as a child. Back then, I understood nothing of that was written inside. I just thought the magical circles looked cool. I still can't read anything that's written in here to save my life. I really am a magical failure, aren't I? I didn't pass my first year at the academy. Magical circles were the bane of my academic life. I remember asking Granny if I'd be able to understand this book one day. She just laughed and patted my head. Now I have no idea what she meant by that response. Did she have the confidence that I would become a great witch like her? Or did she mean that I would never be able to figure out how to apply formulas to witchcraft? I hope it's not the latter. I'm not ready to give up my dream of becoming a certified witch. Granny had no certification. And yet she was one of the most skilled witches in the region. But I wanted to go a step further and be the best in the whole kingdom. To be officially recognized for my skills. What if I never pass my exams? Nora lets out a long sigh. Just thinking about school stresses me out. It flips between first person and third person, and I kinda don't like it. Pick one. Anyway, the workshop. Looking through Grandmother's alchemy workshop makes Nora remember Granny talking about the true meaning of magic, but not what she said. Nora comes into Granny's workshop. This is the room where Granny practiced alchemy. As a witch, she knows various kinds of magic, but alchemy was her specialty. Let's see what I can find here. Not that? Okay. Must be that one. A purple tassel. Not this cobweb right here? Not that one. All right. Well, the fact is, it's the only cobweb I see on the map. There we go. I just apparently wasn't clicking the right place. All right, now the purple tassel. This one here. Oh, they were two different things. I found nothing of significance, but this room brings back so many memories. Granny explained the various kinds of magic to me here, from conjuration to alchemy. I listened wide-eyed, a child intrigued by how the energy courses through her veins could be used to change the world. That was always the miracle of magic to me as a kid, the idea that I could influence the world around me, shape it, and make it listen to my pleas. But then I decided to apply to the academy, and I had to spend years studying to pass the entrance exam. My love for witchcraft dwindled. All I saw were formulas I didn't understand. The miracle of magic was gone, and it all became just numbers and symbols. Nora puts a hand on the cauldron and runs her finger around the rim. Granny's magic is permanently engraved into the cauldron. Even though she's gone, I can still faintly sense a familiar essence of her witch powers. The feeling of her magic makes me feel... Granny, what are you making? Nora remembers a moment when she was 8 years old and watched her grandmother work her magic in the cauldron. A potion that helps one with memory. It's for Lucius. From the shop? Yes, Lucius, the general store owner. You know how he's always so absent-minded and forgets where he placed things. I'm making a potion to help him. Last time Lucius forgot where his glasses were, and they were on his nose. That's right, the way he is. But this potion will help him. Is magic that powerful? Yes, it's very powerful. Do you know what the true meaning of magic is? The reason why our witchcraft is so strong and can be used to help people around us. No. It's... I can't remember what Granny said back then. The true meaning of magic. The reason behind our witch powers. What is it? Is magic all about applying the correct formulas and symbols? Maybe that's the only way to have a strong, stable magical spell. But I don't remember Granny drawing many magical circles. Magic just came so naturally to her. I feel like I'm missing a vital piece of my memory. Maybe the potion she made for Lucius could help me. No, there's no need. I'm sure I remember everything after I look through the house more, and I should stay focused on finding Granny's most prized possession anyway. Alright. Browsing Granny's pantry full of potions and salves causes Nora to miss Grandmother even more. Nora opens the next door and finds herself in a room Granny called her pantry. The space houses dozens upon dozens of magically created potions and salves. Just how many potions can be in this room? Amazing, what a collection. Granny left a significant legacy of witchcraft behind. No wonder the spirit of the house doesn't want me to inherit all these valuable magical items, especially since she deems me unworthy. Alchemy was the first school of magic I studied. Granny taught me how to make potions and salves. We barely ever used magical circles to brew the concoctions, yet somehow I didn't find determining the ingredients for the difficult. We barely ever used magical circles to brew the concoctions, yet somehow I didn't find determining the ingredients for the cauldron difficult. Alchemy is the only type of magic that now comes naturally to me, and I didn't learn it while preparing for the academy or during my studies at the university. Well, I guess let's look through the legacy Grandma left behind. A little bit more difficult. Green leaf. Okay, and the leaf. Am I being blind? This one? There we go. The more I look around Granny's house, the sadder I am that she's not here anymore. If I talked to her about my troubles with my witch studies, I'm sure she would have come up with a solution. She always had good advice for me. I can't stand the fact that she's not around anymore. Alright, it looks like our next stop is Granny's grave in the backyard. Alright. After looking through all the rooms in Granny's house, Nora comes out through the back door into the courtyard, behind the building. There are several graves here, reminding her that she's descended from a long line of Lilyton witches. Great-grandma, great-grandpa, aunties, uncles, they are all here. Nobody's immune to the passage of time, no matter how powerful a witch they are in life. Nora approaches the gravestone with freshly upturned earth at the base. She stares at the letters on the stone. Danica, Grandma, or Granny. She squeezes her fists, nails biting into the palms of her hands. Her lower lip is quivering. I'm sorry, Granny. I should have visited you sooner. I didn't think you would die while I was still studying. I thought one day I would come back to your house, my diploma in hand, a certified witch. Nora finally allows her tears to fall, and for the first time since hearing about Granny's death, she lets go of all the pain she feels in her soul. It was my dream to become officially recognized, but I shouldn't have pursued my career at the expense of my family. I should have valued our connection more. I'm so sorry. The wind blows, ruffling the grass and Nora's hair. Silence is her only reply. I can't turn back time, but I'd like you to know, Granny, if you're watching me from above, that I'm really, truly sorry. Nora turns around, staring at the house. She wipes away her tears. I wish to take care of your house. I don't want your legacy to get wasted or fall into the wrong hands. But I have no idea what your most prized possession could be. I feel like during our 8 years apart, we both grew as people. You got a domestic spirit and renovated your house. I spent countless hours learning magic and made new friends in the capital. When I think back on my memories of my childhood, they're all blurry. They're coming back to me the more time I spend in your home, but if I could talk to someone who knew you well, who spent time with you during the years we were apart, maybe I could figure out what your most important item might be. Ah, you had a best friend, isn't that right, Granny? Meggie from the herbalist store. She's an old lady. I hope she's still alive. My parents never mentioned any news of her passing over the last 8 years. I should head to Lilyton and find Meggie. She's bound to know what item I need to find. With renewed purpose, Nora walks as quickly as she can towards Lilyton, the town just on the outskirts of the land around Granny's house. After deciding to visit Meggie, Granny's friend, Nora searches through the forest for ingredients to give to her. The quickest path to get to the town is through the woods where Nora used to gather ingredients for alchemy with Granny as a child. Meggie always appreciated when Granny and I came by with some ingredients she could buy from us to sell at her store. Think I should try to find some useful plants and mushrooms on my way. That way I won't arrive empty-handed. I'm good at making potions, but I'm also very knowledgeable about alchemy and ingredients. Granny made sure I memorized all the useful plants in the area that are useful for brewing potions and poisons. That's the only university test I didn't fail, though passing one exam wasn't enough to get me promoted to my next year. Alright, and a purple beetle. Purple beetle. I found everything else super easy. Oh, it's right here. I found some blue blooms. Nora looks down at the blue mushrooms and puts them into the bag on her hip. Granny taught me that these are good to make a salve which helps close wounds quickly. Remember one time I scratched my knee pretty badly when I fell from the tree behind Granny's house? Granny took me with her to the forest to look for blue blooms, and even though my knee hurt a lot, I enjoyed gathering ingredients together. After we got the mushrooms, Granny made me a salve for the wounds that healed them up in no time. I'm getting emotional again, thinking about the time I used to spend with Granny. I miss those simple days so much. We know what Granny's most prized possession is, don't we? I think we can already guess. No, Nora, get yourself together. It's okay to grieve Granny's passing, but what's past cannot be undone. You need to focus on the here and now. You need to move forward. That's what Granny would have wanted. Enough moping around. I need to preserve Granny's legacy. To do so, I need to be recognized as the heir of her house. Meggie is bound to appreciate all the ingredients I got for her. Let's go see how she's doing. Nora makes her way into town and quickly finding Meggie's herbalist store, she runs into the building and the small bell above the door making a pleasant ringing sound. Meggie? Nora? Nora looks the elderly witch up and down, trying to determine her health. Are you doing all right? When the weather changes, my joints hurt, but otherwise I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. I'm so glad to see you again, alive and well. I haven't seen you in town for a few years. Danica has. I know. I miss Granny so dearly. Oh, child, I'm so sorry. How are you coping with the loss? I'm grieving, but I'm trying to remember the good times and focus on the present and future. I think that's what Granny would have wanted. Granny left me her house as her inheritance, so I came back to Lilyton, but Granny has a domestic spirit, and she's not happy with my worthiness to become Granny's heir. Bah, that spirit is being overly protective of her and her home again. I'm sad to admit, but the spirit may be right in seeing me unworthy. No way. You're excellent at alchemy and herbalism, Nora, and you spent the last few years studying to be a witch in the capital. Oh, but I'm ashamed to admit the truth, but I failed my first year at the academy. Ah, child, that university has always been very strict. It's not easy to become a certified witch. I know that now, but it was always been my dream to receive an official certification. I'm aware. Please don't judge your worth as a person based on your academic accomplishments, or lack thereof. Child, you are the rightful heir to Danica's legacy. I'll speak to the spirit and make her see reason. No, there's no need to antagonize the spirit or take any other drastic measures. Oh, are you sure? I'm positive. After all, the spirit has taken good care of Granny's house for years, if I understand the situation correctly. True, I may not be fond of how obsessed the spirit is with the safety of her house, but I do appreciate her undaunted dedication to her over the years. I think the spirit saw Granny as a friend. I feel that she genuinely cares about what happens to all that's left behind after Granny's passing. I agree. That's why I decided to take on the spirit's challenge. She told me that if I find Granny's most prized possession and bring it to her, she will recognize my worth as an heir. Well, that is a fair request. But so far I looked through the whole house and I haven't been able to find anything that seems like it would be Granny's most important item. Then I thought about you, Mrs. Maggie, and I haven't seen Granny in the past 8 years. Much must have happened to her while we were apart. Maybe you can tell me what Granny's most valuable possession might be. Do you have any ideas? Give me a minute to think about it. Sure. While Maggie's thinking, Nora takes out the ingredients she found in the woods on the way to Lilyton and lays them out on the table. Maggie looks at Nora with a smile and an appreciative gaze. Thank you for the ingredients, Nora. She finds a pouch behind the counter and counts some coins, passing the reward to Nora. Thank you too, Mrs. Maggie. And as for an item that could be most important to Danica, only she would truly know what she most cared about, but I have some ideas you could explore. Try to find Danica's late husband's hat. Grandpa's hat? As far as I'm aware, she kept it as a memento of him. I know your grandfather passed away when you were 4, so you don't remember him, but he was a gentleman who was rather fond of hats. I think Danica kept his most worn-out gray hat. It was an ugly piece, but it held a lot of sentimental value to her. Noted. That sounds important indeed. Otherwise, Danica was also very fond of candles, but she might not have many of those around since she used them up so frequently. Oh, I considered candles too, but I think the spirit meant a singular important possession. Candles were special to Granny in general, but no specific one mattered to her much. Especially since, as you say, she burned them rather than holding on to them for decoration purposes. Right. What about her journal? Oh, did she keep one? She kept multiple, most of them for the purpose of noting down her research on plants and mushrooms and figuring out new alchemy concoctions. But she wrote in a diary too from time to time. If you find it, I'm sure you'll be able to figure out what was most important to her. Oh, wow, yeah. Reading that journal would be like talking directly with Granny. I think I can solve this puzzle. I'm sure you will be able to complete the challenge, Nora. Thank you for your faith in me. Though no matter what you decide to do, please watch out for the spirit of Danica's house. Ever since she let her reside in her home, it's been acting unpredictable. Hydration break. Unpredictable how? Sometimes it just wouldn't let people in. It would misplace items and make the house glow. Wait, the spirit can misplace items? Yes, that apparition is more powerful than the usual domestic spirit. Do you think she could be hiding items from me? I hope not, though it is possible. I should look through all the rooms once more. It may not entirely be my fault that I'm not finding things. I just hope the spirit gives me a fair chance. I'll be rooting for you, Nora. How did the spirit come to reside in Granny's house? They met during one of her travels. She found the spirit guarding an empty house and asked her to come with her. I'm not sure what the exact circumstances were. She didn't share the details with me, and I didn't press for answers. If you're curious, maybe you'll be able to piece the story together by reading her journal and talking to others in town. I'm sure some curious soul got more of the story out of Danica, but not entirely respecting her boundaries. You could also talk to the spirit herself. The story feels personal. I doubt the spirit will want to share it with me. You may be right. Thanks for telling me all this. I really appreciate your help. Of course, dear child. Okay, I didn't expect so much reading, so I'm going to stop here. I know it's a fairly short episode, and I will bring you back another episode. But this much reading is really hard on my voice, so I will be back with more, I promise.